See if this is working. It's been a long ass week. Hello, hello, hello. Awkward silence. All right. I think everything's working. And I think that we're here for another Ring of Honor TV review, episode number 118 to be exact. Following last week's double upload, double feature, where I also provided my double or nothing predictions in it. This week, just ROH TV review. I don't think off the top of my head I have anything that important to talk about. I do have a lot of thoughts about double or nothing, but it's mainly things leading up to All In, so we should have some time before then to talk about that. But we're here today to discuss Ring of Honor TV, episode number 118, and this is a interesting edition of ROH. So when they originally announced this episode, I thought it was going to be 4 matches, and normally when we get these 4-match cards, it doesn't take long, and then I looked at the runtime, and it said an hour 20. I was like, what? I was a bit flabbergasted. So, why was I flabbergasted? Why was I shocked? This past weekend, before Double or Nothing, Action Pro Wrestling put on a special tribute show entitled Dean 2, to be exact. And a lot of ROH talent, several ROH talents were involved with this. And it was essentially co-promoted by ROH because throughout the show they were thanking ROH and ROH talent were involved, as I was saying. And the whole show was uploaded free to ROH's YouTube channel. So I implore you to go watch it because it was a very fun show. So 2 of the matches from that show were showcased on this episode of ROH. I'm going to talk about one of them. One of them I am not because it was a long-ass match. And I'm imploring you to go out of your way to watch this show because, again, it's free on YouTube. But the one match I'll talk about is a pure title match, so that's why I feel the need to discuss it a little bit more. But we'll get more into that when the time comes. Let's get into this episode of ROH on Honor Club as we're already 2 minutes in, so quit wasting time. As our opening contest this week was Trish Adora versus La Catalina. Catalina lands several arm drags and drop kicks early, with Adora targeting Catalina's arm afterwards. We get a running knee by Catalina, leading to a forearm exchange by both when they're both on their feet. We get a running drop kick and facebuster by Catalina that gets a 2 count. A German suplex gets a 2 count by Adora, and then an electric chair drop and frog splash gives Catalina the victory, as they were hinting that she potentially could be in the pure title tournament. I don't know. They didn't fully announce that, but they kind of hinted at it. As our next matchup, Lance Archer versus Diego Hill. Hill attempts an attack early and attempts a crossbody springboard, which Archer just pushes him out of the way. At some point, Archer does bleed, but I don't know exactly when that happened. It might have been from that early attack, but it fuels Archer to put on a dominant performance that he wins with a ankle lock, and then he does hit the blackout post-match. So a very quick Lance Archer victory. As we get a video package from our current Ring of Honor Women's Champion, very much just showcasing her entire reign, as she will be returning to ROH TV next week because it has been quite some time since she has been fully on ROH TV. She had business to take care of in AEW, so now she's returning to take care of business in ROH. So it will be an interesting appearance by Athena next week. Now, I was telling you about that pure title match earlier. Again, this is from Action Pro Wrestling, Dean 2. Lee Moriarty defending his pure title against Matt Mako. Like I said, this show was somewhat co-promoted by ROH, and I will be the asshole. I wish they would have put more effort into promoting and showcasing this match leading up to the event, or I said this match, the event, because they only mentioned it once, and that was to promote Josh Woods versus Tom Lawler, which is a match that didn't even end up happening because Tom Lawler was hurt, but Josh Woods did compete, and Tom Lawler was there. So I wish that they kind of would have promoted the show a little bit better on ROH TV, because I was a bit confused about the whole ordeal, and I've been able to learn more about it throughout it. But point being, the show is free. It's on ROH's YouTube. Check it out. But if you want to know what happened in this pure title match, we're going to discuss it right now. Lee Mortiarty versus Matt Mako. Now, I do appreciate the commentators for saying this. There are judges. They are in the back. They did not say who they are. So I do not get to do my Jerry Lynn bit, but they at least acknowledge that there were judges in the back watching this contest. We get an immediate arm breaker attempt by Mako that uses Moriarty's first rope break attempt, and then it happens very quickly afterwards, like legitimately a minute later, he attempts a second one that uses Moriarty's second rope break attempt. Then Moriarty is able to apply the Border City stretch that uses Mako's first rope break attempt. Moriarty then applies his own armbar using Mako's second rope break attempt, so they each have one left, but that does not matter once Mako hits a weapon X that gets a 2 count. Moriarty then applies the Border City stretch once again with Mako using his last rope break attempt at that point. Then Mako turns a suplex into an armbar attempt using Moriarty's last rope break attempt, so there are no more rope breaks left for either competitor. Moriarty applies a trap pin that gets a close 2 count, and then he is able to apply the Border City stretch, leading to Mako tapping out, and Moriarty retaining his pure championship. Now, I will also say that they did show the 10-man Cybernetico, which is an elimination tag match, and it took up a lot of runtime on this episode of ROH. So I will go ahead and tell y'all now, get out of your way to watch this, because I'm not covering that match, as there's no real ROH competitor in the matchup. Hologram did compete in it, who is in our main event on this week's ROH. And I also implore you, because if you watch this matchup, there's a little cameo afterwards, post-match cameo. You know how we get post-credit scenes in movies? Post-match cameo by Ring of Honor legend after this matchup. So I'm giving y'all more reason to go watch that, as we did get a video package showcasing the AEW Tag Team title match at Double or Nothing. And why does that matter? Because our Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, the Sons of Texas, were in the match, and they are not double champions, as the Hurt Syndicate were able to successfully retain, so no double champions. Satnam Singh takes on Facade next, as Facade tries running away from Singh early on, but eventually gets trapped in the corner, where Singh lands a trio of big chops and then lands a big choke slam to pick up the victory. As we now are at our main event this week, I don't want to say it's the most obscure match in ROH on Honor Club TV history, but it's definitely like top 5. This is up there. The Frat House versus Hologram and Rhino. Rhino making his Ring of Honor return. He competed in ROH several times in the early 2010s, a member of Scum. But Hologram making his Ring of Honor debut, as the Frat House earlier this week also competed on AEW TV in a matchup against the Ops. Now, this is Griff Garrison and Cole Carter in this match, but Jack Jameson and Preston Vance do get involved early, attacking their own pledges before the match even starts, and they send them packing per se. Now, Garrison and Hologram start the matchup off, with Garrison not being able to hold his own until Carter is able to come in once Hologram turns his back. At this point, Rhino's tagged in. The referee is distracted by Jameson with Vance attacking Hologram on the outside, but Hologram eventually dives onto all the members of the Frat House except for Garrison, who happens to be in the ring, and it's hit with a gore, gore, gore by Rhino, as Hologram and Rhino pick up the victory, ending this episode of Ring of Honor on Honor Club. So I thought the main event was very fun. The opening match had a lot of intrigue to it. I did like that they showcased the matches from the Dean tribute show. So I'm going to say it once again to go check that out on your own, because it's free on ROH's YouTube. So that's it for this Ring of Honor TV review. As always, when these matches carry over, if you want to know who wins, comment down below and I'll tell you who wins, because I don't feel like just sitting here and bantering with y'all. I did say Double or Nothing. I enjoyed Double or Nothing. There's a lot of discourse post Double or Nothing, which, to be fair, that's kind of the case with any wrestling pay-per-view. I don't that I feel that a lot of my thoughts about Double or Nothing, again, are going to bleed over into All In. So it's going to be a very week by week basis. There's a great chance that like my thought process on a lot of this stuff will change on a week by week basis. Also, I'll tell you this now, Collision this week will be airing after the NBA playoffs because I know there's a bit of confusion there because, all right, I'm going off the rails here. So there's going to be confusion because when they were airing Dynamite, they did not know if there would be a Game 6 for the Pacers and Knicks on Saturday. Spoiler alert, there will be a Game 6 for Pacers and Knicks on Saturday. So Collision this week will be airing after that game, probably about 11 o'clock Central Time. I don't know. 10 o'clock maybe. I don't know. I just know it'll be after the game. And there's a chance that game goes in overtime, double overtime, so you could be waiting a while for that. Point being, and this is also me thinking off the top of my head, and it could be a messy situation. This could be the last time the NBA is on TNT because once that series ends, the TNT deal is done. They're going to be moving on to NBC and Amazon Prime next season. I know there's a whole other series after that. I don't really want to talk about the damn finals. You know, there's too much hate in my heart. That's the easiest way to put that. Point being, backtracking. Talking about next week's ROH. I would imagine it is next Thursday because AEW are trying a very risky and crazy experiment with a 4-hour broadcast, the Summer Spectacular, where they're combining Dynamite and Collision back to back next Wednesday. So I would say that Thursday, ROH should be its normal time. I would also say that they're doing that because of the NHL Stanley Cup Finals or the NHL Playoff Stanley Cup Finals, which have been announced. It is the Oilers and Panthers. So I would imagine that ROH is at its normal time next week. So I've just been going off the rail and talking about random ass shit. So I'm not really I'm going to apologize for it, but not really mean the apology, if that makes any sense. So I'm done yapping. Like I said, if y'all want to know who wins this match, comment it, and I'll let you know. I do appreciate y'all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you when I see you. Oh, my God. He did it with the cone in his hand. Y'all don't even have to comment. Y'all don't even have to Rick, go count the pin. Y'all ain't got to comment. Y'all saw a whole one. So, appreciate y'all watching. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. I'm out for now.